Tomorrow, activists have planned a national shutdown to protest ICE. Here in Metro Atlanta, students in dozens of schools plan to walk out of class. But now local school administrators in several districts have issued stern warnings to students about the consequences of walking out of class. Fox 5's Rob Durienzo spent the day tracking all of the protests. And Rob, have these warnings from administrators started to change the students' minds?
Well, Courtney, I spoke with two students who are organizing protests tomorrow. They say they will not be deterred regardless of these consequences. And they say these consequences can range from suspension to possibly finding out or notifying, rather, the colleges and schools they'd like to attend.
This isn't about disrupting learning time. This is about speaking out.
Students across Metro Atlanta remaining defiant against school warnings not to walk out of class on Friday. A national shutdown is planned, with posts on social media suggesting upwards of 75 schools here in Metro Atlanta participating. Cobb County wrote to parents it could, quote, be taken into account by college admission offices and future employers.
This could be a teaching moment for everyone, and Cobb is deciding to threaten students instead of teach them about protesting and our First Amendment.
Junior Joseph Rivera is planning a walkout at Hillgrove High School. In Woodstock, Leilani Garcia is doing the same despite warnings from Cherokee County administrators.
I planned this big protest where we're all going to meet up in front of the school.
In the fallout of federal agent shooting and killing Alex Priddy in Minneapolis last week, the Trump administration has pledged change.
No agency or organization is perfect. President Trump and I, along with others in the administration, have recognized that certain improvements could and should be made. They're trying to do it with professionalism. If they don't, they'll be dealt with. Like any other federal agency, we have standards of conduct.
In DeKalb County, administrators called the walkouts, quote, unacceptable behavior, also promising consequences. Calhoun City Schools followed suit, adding, quote, external organizations are behind the walkouts.
We're sliding quickly from authoritarianism into fascism.
Activists like Jacob Flowers believe the threats are meant to silence students.
You've already seen sustained resistance to the presence of immigration officials in the Atlanta area.
Regardless, Rivera says he won't be deterred.
No matter the consequences, it is right and it is good.
Now, Courtney, both of those students tell me they organize these protests themselves, but it's not clear who is behind the national shutdown movement that is scheduled for tomorrow. According to its website, its end goal is to get ICE fully defunded. Live in Midtown, Rob Durienzo, Fox 5 News.